structure represents the best format for any sales presentation to any high-level executive, and especially to a buyer with a short attention span. You can't afford to blindfold your buyer. Give them the punchline up front. And then you want to make a conscious decision about whether to present all options or only one. When you're courting several buyers with differing viewpoints, it's natural to think that the more general you can make your presentation and recommendations, the more hooks you can create for bickering buyers to latch onto. In that effort, you tend to explain your recommendations first one way and then another way. You choose this analogy and that analogy. You think maybe this and then maybe that would be part of the final offering. Often, the intention with the elaboration is mentioning something that will appeal to everybody. But a broad recommendation usually has the opposite effect. Everybody hears something they can disagree with. And as a result, you wind up spending more time dealing with the minor details, what you didn't mean to imply, than you do with the general thrust of your primary proposal offering. The group has a sense that your proposal has been thrashed to death, when in reality only the chaff around it has been discarded. So instead, you want to make your proposal succinct, offering only one specific way. Let it stand there in all its glory until your buyer's questions force you to add details or other points. And then you want to remember to analyze the various stages of the customer's mindset to determine at what point to start your presentation. When presenting to a single buyer, address the buyer's biggest needs first. That should be your highest priority. And then sort through the plethora of other information to select the specific details to focus on your discussion. You want to base those details on your analysis and answers to these key questions. What does your buyer absolutely have to know to decide? And then, what do they already know about your product, service, or solution? What outcome do they want? What other bids have they considered and rejected? When presenting to a committee or a group of buyers, let your client, contact, or sponsor summarize the problem and the cost of the problem before you present your solution. That will set the mood for accepting your solution and positioning its value. Watch the audience to determine your contact's credibility with the audience. Focusing on the consequence of the problem is almost always more important than focusing on value as a motivator for the group's decision. But a successful sales presentation takes more than just the appropriate made structure. You have to understand the principles of persuasion in general. Let's talk about that for a minute. Just what do you have to do to persuade people? The first suggestion and the foundation is to influence, not just inform. One of the biggest hindrances to selling success is being informative rather than persuasive. Information overwhelms us. It's all around us. Chances are that your client has researched your website, surfed the web generically before contacting you. Your role as a salesperson is to make the available information actionable for your buyers. To do that, you'll need to use what I call the 5 prongs of persuasion. The first one, word choice. Your words need to be positive, not negative. Specific, precise. And then just rhetoric. And what I mean by rhetoric, your powerful phrasing and graceful grammar should pack a powerful punch on a buyer's memory. Third, the emotion. Feelings of either pleasure, fear, safety, discomfort, pride, acceptance, rejection, prestige, all of these are part of creating an emotional reaction to what you're saying. But then you don't want to forget that 4th prong of persuasion, which is logic. Buyers don't always make decisions based on logic, but they like to think they do. So your reasoning and conclusions, drawn from facts, information, opinions, or ideas, is extremely important. And then the 5th prong of persuasion, trustworthiness. Trust in an individual's or an organization's principles, their values, their integrity. Can they deliver what they say? Do their core values match yours? So to recap, you're going to need all 5 legs from that stool. To persuade, you need to know and use the best